So you're running a business in Kenya and you are just getting hammered with ads for accounting software, right? Everyone's promising you the world. But what's the real story behind all that marketing? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to find out what actually works here on the ground and what's just a total waste of your money. Okay, before we dive into the big names, let's get one thing straight. It's a question that trips up so many businesses. Does free software, like spreadsheets, actually save you any money in the long run? The answer probably isn't what you think it is. Take a good look at this number, 380,000 Kenya shillings. Just let that sink in for a second. What on earth could that number possibly represent for a business? That right there, that is the actual cost of using free Excel for just one mid-sized audit firm. And get this, that was in a single quarter. We're talking 127 billable hours. That's 3 full weeks of someone's time, just spent fixing formula mistakes and tracking down broken links. All of a sudden, free doesn't sound so free anymore, does it? And this is exactly what we mean by the hidden cost of free. Using the wrong tools, it costs you way more than just money. It costs you time, it costs you accuracy, and frankly, it costs you your peace of mind. So if Excel isn't the answer, what is? All right, let's get into it. Let's look at some of the most popular accounting software options you'll find in Kenya and figure out what they're really good for. We're going to separate the facts from the fancy marketing slogans. And we've got to start with the biggest myth out there, that QuickBooks is this magical all-in-one solution for every single business in Kenya. Look, it's a fantastic tool, no doubt, but it is so important to understand what it can't do. Here's the deal with QuickBooks. For bookkeeping, it is an absolute powerhouse, and its M-Pesa integration, a total game changer for so many of us. Seriously, when it's used right, it can slash your audit prep time in half. But, and this is a big but, it is not an audit tool. It doesn't create those detailed working papers that auditors absolutely need to do their jobs. It helps you get ready for an audit. It doesn't help you do an audit. So, what do the big professional firms use? They're using something called caseware. It is the gold standard for creating proper audit working papers. But whoa, that price tag, you're looking at over 200,000 shillings a year, and it takes weeks to learn properly. Honestly, if your firm handles less than, say, 30 audits a year, it's complete overkill. You'd be paying for a ton of features you'll probably never even touch. Now for the heavyweights, Sage and SAP. Sage is a really solid choice if you're a company with complicated inventory, like in manufacturing. SAP, on the other hand, well, that's for the true giants of the industry. Just be ready to open your wallet and open it wide. The cost to just get these systems set up can easily run into the millions of shillings. Okay, let's talk about the Kenyan reality. This is stuff that those generic software reviews you read online, they just completely miss. I'm talking about the unique challenges we face right here, like dealing with the KRA's iTax portal and the whole M-Pesa ecosystem. You've seen it advertised everywhere, right? KRA iTax integration. But what does that actually mean? Well, most of the time, it just means the software spits out a file that you then have to go and upload to the iTax portal yourself. That fully automated one-click connection, it's incredibly rare. So please, make sure you test this feature yourself before you buy anything. And oh, M-Pesa reconciliation, what a headache. Even with the best software out there, you're probably still going to have to manually check and match about 30% of your transactions. Look, the automation helps for sure, but it is not a magic wand that makes the problem disappear. Okay, so now that we've got a lay of the land, let's talk about some of the most common traps to avoid when you're making your choice. These are the pitfalls I see businesses fall into time and time again. Remember that first number I showed you? Well, here's another one for you to chew on. 428,863 shillings. Any guesses? That's the cost for a single user license for a piece of software called Idea Data Analysis. So why on earth is it so expensive? Well, for most people who buy it, this quote just nails it. It's like paying for a racing car just to drive to the grocery store. They're only using a tiny, tiny fraction of its incredible power, which means they are just overspending dramatically. Ah, the whole cloud versus desktop debate. It's another classic trap. Look, they both have their good and bad sides. But for a lot of Kenyan firms, a hybrid solution is actually the smartest way to go. You use the cloud for your day-to-day transactions, where you need access from anywhere, but you keep your really sensitive files like audit working papers safe and sound on a secure desktop machine. Best of both worlds. And this is so crucial, and so many businesses miss it. The number one reason new software fails, it isn't the software itself. It's the implementation. It's the setup, the rollout, the training. So how do you avoid this massive pitfall? Simple. You follow the 15% rule. Whatever your software is going to cost you, you need to budget an extra 10 to 15% on top of that, specifically for professional setup and proper training for your team. I promise you, it is a small investment that will pay for itself 100 times over. It makes all the difference. Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground. So now let's pull it all together into a really practical, smart decision-making framework to help you find the absolute perfect fit for your business. This table right here is basically your cheat sheet. If you're a small business just starting out, QuickBooks Online or Zoho Books are fantastic choices. As you start to grow, you might want to look at QuickBooks Plus or Sage. For the really large corporations, you're in Sage 300 or SAP territory. And for my fellow audit firms, Caseware is the goal, but only once you're consistently hitting that 30 audits per year mark. But please, don't just take my word for it. This is the final, most important step. Use that free trial period to test the software with your own real data. Don't use their demo stuff. Reconcile your actual M-Pesa statement. Try the KRA export. See if it really works for your specific business before you spend a single shilling. So as you're making your final decision, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Is the software you're choosing going to actually move your business forward? Or is it just helping you maintain the status quo, just keeping you treading water? Because the right tool, it won't just help you manage your finances, it'll help you build a bigger, better future for your business.